Rage Against the Machine slop. Let's figure it out. We need to know 4 things. First, what is slop? Second, how do we detect slop? Third is how much of Rage Against the Machine's catalog is slop? And fourth, we have to know, are they even talented? And then fifth, finally, I'm going to tell you if you are going to think that they are slop and if people in general are going to think they're slop. Let's just get into it, okay? Let's figure out what is slop. Okay, slop is when a song, we have catchiness here and energy here. When any song of any energy level is less than a 7 catchy, if you're not a fan of that energy level or an associated genre, you're going to call that song slop. Okay, right? So, if there's a high energy metal song and it's not catchy at all, and you like classical music and jazz and indie music, you're going to say, that song is slop, etc. Now, if something's catchy, it's above a 7 catchy, it's not going to be called slop. People will have to admit, even if they don't like low energy music, they have to admit, well, it's pop, right? Or they're going to say it's pop. That's how they're going to think about it in their brain skull. This is just an observation. You friggin' dingus. I'm just kidding. You're not a dingus. That was rude. But if you look up here, you can see if something's catchy, it's past the slop line, the slop index of 7, right? And it's high energy, people are going to call it rock. That's what they do, right? They call whatever, I am Iron Man, doom, doom. Like if Rage Against the Machine weren't catchy, here's a little hint forward. In general, Rage Against the Machine songs are catchy. In general, they're not slop. But if they were, and they still had that same energy level, people would probably call it metal. If they like it. If they don't like it, they'd call it slop. They'd call it garbage. Now, I said in general, how do you mean that? Do you mean the whole catalog? Do you mean an individual song? What do you mean? Because here's the thing. This works for an individual song, but how do you do it to a whole catalog? We're going to get into that, right? And here's the other thing, too, is energy. How do you rank that? That's pretty obvious. This is like I'm falling asleep music. This is like I'm dancing range. This is I'm moshing and there's a pit. You know what I mean? It's violence. But how do you figure out catchiness? How do you figure out where the slop cutoff is? How do you figure that out? So next we go on to the catchiness index. And we look at, okay, we basically, a lot of things go into catchiness. Catchiness is not, just one thing. But the factor that can give us the biggest baseline, biggest gist, per se, biggest gist, is going to be predictability. You can see here that if a song is totally predictable, it's completely corny, like a Joe Bonamassa song, it's guaranteed, this is catchiness here, it's guaranteed to be slop. If it's completely incoherent, like a Mars Volta song, it's likewise also going to be slop, right? And then if it's in this money zone between Back in Black, which is balanced, and Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, which is zany, if it's in this money zone, it has still a chance of being slop, right? It still has a chance of being something just for fans of that genre or for fans of that artist. And then it also has a good chance of being hit quality, right? Meaning people outside of that genre, outside of that fan base for that artist are going to be like, dang, that's a really good song. Let me add it to a playlist, right? And there's a real small chance of it being a smash hit, which means everyone's going to love it, right? And so when we say hit quality, we don't mean necessarily it had to have been a hit. If you think of like Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine, if it was released, it was never released. Imagine it was never released in an alternate timeline. And then tomorrow someone releases it, an unknown artist, and no one ever hears it. It's still a hit quality song despite the fact that it doesn't become a hit. So those things are related. Usually it's a prerequisite that something's a hit quality song for it to actually become a hit. Things can be hit quality without ever actually becoming a hit. Maybe there's just other songs on the radio at the time, etc. But now we get into the third question, which is how much the Rage Against the Machine is or is not slop. And so here we're going to see, this is our catalog audit. We're going to do a catalog audit. And, if you look here, you can see this is the ratio of quality to quantity. So the different quality buckets of catchiness being quality here, right, just as a proxy. Here is hit quality, here is for fans, and here is total slop. So a great example is if you like metal or you like a certain genre, like if you like prog rock, Frank Zappa, if you like metal, Motorhead or Slayer, right? Or if you just like those artists in particular, those artists don't have a lot of hits. They also don't have a lot of slop. They mostly have stuff that's just for fans that people who aren't fans of it Some of it they'll call slop, some of it they won't, but like it's not really clear. Versus something like a less than 50-50 catalog where it's mostly slop. Even the fans don't have much stuff relative to the total amount of slop. So like David Bowie, for example, he has like maybe 15 incredible hit songs that people in general would say are incredible hit songs. I'm not saying you or I would particularly, but in general, that seems to be a consensus. But if you and like me, I did this for a music class when I was in college. It helped me get, credit, easy A. But I went through his whole catalog and it's mostly just unlistenable. There's some stuff that's just for fans, like Man Who Sold the World, but most of it's unlistenable. So that's what we're talking about, ratio. And so I think similarly, I like Limp Bizkit, but Limp Bizkit mostly has unlistenable stuff. And then there's a lot of good hits, but it's like mostly not. You know what I mean? It's the ratio. Led Zeppelin, Nine Inch Nails, it's 50-50, where there's like, maybe 3 albums of just like pure hits everyone loves, 3 albums of stuff that like fans are going to really love, and then 3 albums that no one is going to love, right? So it's like everyone, fans, no one, right? So this is an OnlyFans catalog. There's a hit or quit. You can look at all these, but basically the main one we need to see today is a classic catalog is where it's mostly stuff that everyone's going to like, depending, assuming that you can tolerate the energy level. Like if you just can't handle like stuff that's really catchy, like metal energy level, like super energetic, well then it may be not you. But in general, most people, if they're not being biased by the energy level thing, right, that they just can't handle it, right? Outside of those people, it's going to be for everyone. Most of the catalog is going to be for everyone, and then there's still going to be a lot of good stuff for fans as well. And that's where you see the Beatles, you see Metallica, you see Daft Punk, you see Rage Against the Machine. For me, like Daft Punk's an example where in general the energy level, I fall into the being biased. Like for me, I would go, well, it's a really classic catalog, but it is. But it's a little lower energy than I like listening to most of the time. But it's still a classic catalog if you're talking about catchiness and how good it is. Like if I'm in the right mood, like if I just got out of the shower, I'm done with all my work for the day, I'm just hanging out, I'm like, let me go into the kitchen, let me just, get something prepared. And I put on the Daft Punk, my hair's drying, I feel good, I'm in nice clothes, I'm like ready for bed and like, maybe watch TV for a little bit like that. And you put the Daft Punk on, I'll be like, man, this is great. Like, you know what I mean? Though normally that's not my default. Normally I'm like, lights out, let's go to the radio. Bring that shit in. Bring that shit. Sorry. I can't do Zach De La Roche. I was doing Fred Durst. We go Wicked Durst. Fred Durst from a biscuit. Limpy shrimp. Mama Bumbo. Wicka wow wow. 19 to the phone line. Now we're... Screw you. That was a great impression. I saw a guy. I can't do my Biden impression anymore. Now he's not president. I'm very sad. But, okay, so now, are they talented, right? So this is where most bands fall apart. When I fall down, you put me back together. Who is that? Is that... No way, that's Weezer. Oh, gosh. But no, okay, so Rage Against the Machine. So this is talents, right? Some people, like Kim Kardashian, just care if it's a cool t-shirt at Walmart. That's brand. They don't care about the songs or the virtuosity of the musicians, right? So that's for these people. Rage Against the Machine, how do they rank as a t-shirt? I'd say yellow. I'd say fine. They're fine. They're fine overall. Like, it's not... They have a good brand, kind of, but like, if you said, dress like Rage Against the Machine for Halloween, I'd be like, maybe I could do Tom Morello, but really it's his guitars that are zany. You know what I mean? Versus dress like Limp Bizkit for Halloween, you'd be like, red baseball hat, basketball shorts. If I said dress like Korn, you'd be like all Adidas, like fake dreadlocks. You know what I mean? Like maybe tattoos. Like that's, or in Metallica, depending on what era you would do it, right? So that's an obvious thing. I think they're fine there. They have a solid brand. Like if you see a Rage Against the Machine shirt, when they did like, they said, was it like Make America Rage Again, right? When it was like 2015 and like everyone was like, Make America Great Again and like Trump and all that stuff. And so I went to a show and they were selling Make America Rage Again shirts or hats. And so I was like, okay, like, so they're kind of good with branding, but they're not like the most iconic. It's not like Black Sabbath where you're like, Ozzy. Like, there's just, you know what I mean? So, but musicianship, this is one where they get a check. I know my brother started learning bass and was like, instantly was like, I need to learn these songs. He heard these songs, like, I need to play bass, right? I heard these, I was like, I need to play guitar, right? Like, take the power back. You hear that and you go, I want to learn that instrument. I need to learn how to play that song in particular. I need to listen to the catalog to see if there's more of these. Like, I need to not miss out on that. That's cool. So green, they get an excellent there. They get an excellent. There we go. I have trouble breathing with my sinuses, so I it's actually good to clear my sinuses out. They should do a study on that and see if that helps people with breathing. I'm going to be here like for 80 hours filming these, I realize. Anyways, songwriting, incredible. Green. So they get green, green, green. So usually when it's split here, when it's like they suck at one thing, they're really good at another, and they're okay at another, or they suck at another, or they're good at two things but suck at another, it's like that's where you get it where it's controversial. Because they're good at everything, Rage Against the Machine's good at everything. They're, depending on all of the different types of listeners and music people you're going to talk to, people in general are going to, I need to get some duct tape or something right after I'm done filming this. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I'm fuming. I know that's what I sound like, right? I'm like freaking out. I'm like, not my paper. Dork. That's what I sound like. But so, in general, now that we get back to it, where are people going to put them? People don't normally just think of, I remember that one song, and I'm going to rank the band based off the one song. And usually they don't think, here's the whole catalog. I'm going to rank them off that. Usually they go, I kind of remember like 10 songs I liked from them, or the 10 I remember from them, the 10 best. And then I go, okay, well, where were they about? Where was like their average? Kind of like, I don't know. And so they look at the average of that. So where did that for me? Here you can see, here is the list. And here is the talent, right? Here is the distribution of the catalog, low on controversy. Now, I put my top 10 songs as Killing in the Name of, what is it? Fuck You, Don't Do It, Tell Me. And then Bulls on Parade. How I could just kill a man, there's something that you ain't gonna understand. I could just yell a man. Oh my God, and then Take the Power Back, and then Bob Track. Bird, bird, what you got a bird? Bird, bird, I am such a bird. Bird, bird, I am a bird. Bird, bird, I am a bird. Bird, bird, caw-caw. Guerrilla Radio, Sleep Now in the Fire. That's the song. And then, People on the Sun, bring it back around again, brother. Testify. No, testify. No, testify. Now testify. The people that say. Oh my God! That puts me out of the 8.5 in terms of catchiness and an 8.2 in terms of energy. So, where does that mean? I want a calzone. That's what you're thinking. You think, oh gosh, I want a calzone. Why? Why do you want a calzone? Do you like the lighting? I like the lighting. I like this green. Okay, no, so where's that put them? 8.2. Puts them right in the metal, definitely like a metal energy level, right? And then if you come all the way across, where we say 8.5, 8.6 something, so they're a when you go up and across, right, and or from this way as well, you can kind of add the words in, predicting what people are going to say. So people might call them, well, they're kind of metal, right, because they're barely into the category. They're like, well, they're kind of metal, I guess. They're like kind of metal. And then they also go like, oh, well, they're definitely a rock band, but they're like kind of metal. And are a little poppy. So if you're like in this range, right, in terms of energy, and you're a rock band, people will add the word pop. But usually, if you just get to this point, the energy's so high that they just won't even like call you rock and pop. They won't add. They'll just be like, it's too far away. The adding has a friggin' Uber it has to take, and that's too far. It doesn't want to. The Uber's too expensive. It's infinity more $1 billion, so I'm not doing that. But yeah, so a lot of their songs kind of in this range. If you really had to like plot them, so though I picked like here, I mean it really is this whole range. They're really consistent. They're in the rock spot like almost the entire time at this energy level. They're really good. That's why. So a really good band, or a low controversy band. Usually a band with low controversy stays put, right? If you plot all their songs, they're in the same spot because people usually aren't going to disagree about them. Like those bands tend to be low controversy if like all of their songs fit right in like one spot. You plot every single song. So it doesn't matter which ones you're going between for your average, right? Like if I have songs here, and here, the average is like here. Even though they don't have a single song that's there, they're all just like all around, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and the people who like these songs, or the people who think of these songs, the people who think of these songs are going to be like, well, it's this. No, it's this or it's this, right? And really, they're like, no one's right, no one's wrong. So that's where you get controversy versus Rage Against the Machine. It's like, boom, right there. And a lot of good bands, they're just like a circle kind of in usually like the middle or some middle spot in there when you're thinking about the top 10. And usually like, it doesn't matter what top 10 you pick from Rage Against the Machine, they're probably going to be around this range, this like 8 to 9. So we get like a box here. Boxing. Anyways, if you like the video, comment, subscribe, please comment, please like, please subscribe. And if you're Latina, hit me up. Latina. Okay, Latina. Now you got that. Thank you. Okay. Now for the rest of you. No. Okay. And tell me what videos you want to see next. What bands do you want me to discuss? Do you want me to go album by album and then plot every single song from an album? I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please watch the next one. I don't know what I'm doing. I might be doing Van Halen next. Ooh. Hey, talking about love. You know about number 4. Hey, talking about love. I've got it bad, got it bad. I'm half a teacher.